Hello guys, welcome to the movie recap review. Happy watching.
Get off me. Hey, what's going on here? Dad!
Dear Mom, I hope you're doing okay.
A teenage girl named Marie is struggling to breathe while being held by a woman in the backseat of a car. A man is driving them quickly to the hospital. When they arrive, he carries Marie inside and warns the woman, not a word. Next, we see a family at the dinner table. Don and his wife Renee have two daughters, Amy and Sarah. Sarah is rebellious and sneaks out at night to party at a bonfire with her boyfriend Chris, who rides a motorcycle and plays guitar. He sings to Sarah and tells her he loves her. Sarah returns home the next morning, and Don is furious. He yells at her and says that as long as she lives under his roof, she must follow his rules. Sarah later tells Amy and Renee that she plans to move out when she turns 18. Don overhears and secretly prepares a bomb shelter in the basement to trap her. One day, while Renee is out, Don asks Sarah to help him move things in the basement. He locks her inside the soundproof room. There's no way out. A bin full of clothes is her only comfort. A day counter appears. This is day one of many. Sarah lives like a prisoner. The keypad to the door only allows 3 tries before it shuts off the air. She uses pots as toilets and screams for help whenever she can. Don tells her she must earn privileges and is being punished for disobeying. Then he assaults her. Renee believes Sarah ran away and calls the police. Don lies to the officers, who can't do much since Sarah is already 18. By day 7, Sarah is injured and traumatized. She thinks about Chris to stay strong. Meanwhile, Chris visits Don, asking where Sarah is. Don lies and says she ran off with a guy named Steve. Day 21. Don brings Sarah a birthday cake, forces her to wear a red dress, and asks what she wants for her birthday. She says she wants to be released. He says it's too soon. She asks for a TV. He says she has to earn it. Then she asks for a clock. He agrees and tells her to come closer. It's likely he assaults her again. Day 38. The next time he comes down, Sarah fights back. She attacks him with a lid from a corned beef can attached to wood. Don dodges it, beats her, and likely assaults her again. Day 354. Sarah is pregnant with Don's child. She gives birth alone, with no doctor and no proper help, using a book to guide her. She names the baby Marie. Years later, Sarah is raising Marie and is pregnant again. She and her children are still locked in the basement. She seems calmer now and even talks politely to Don, once offering him tea. Don has gotten a promotion and says he'll have a new office. He's given Sarah some furniture, a table, cupboards, a mattress. When she asks to be released, he gets angry, but later gives her a TV for Christmas. Year 7. Sarah now has a son, Michael. All 3 are still trapped in the basement. Marie becomes sick. Don gives pills, but Sarah says they're not for kids and doesn't know the dose. She demands a doctor, but Don ignores her and leaves. Meanwhile, Chris is still searching for Sarah. He talks to Amy and says Don claimed Sarah ran off with someone named Steve. Amy admits Don was abusive to their mom and starts to suspect he did something to Sarah. She confronts Don and accuses him. Renee wants to hire a private investigator, which makes Don furious. During their argument, Don accidentally drops the keys to the basement. Amy picks up the dropped keys and secretly checks the basement, but Don catches her and gets aggressive. Sarah later gives birth to her 3rd child, a boy named Thomas. She convinces Don to leave the baby on the doorstep with a note asking someone to take care of him. Don leaves the baby for Renee to find. Sarah also hides a smaller note asking her mom to call the police because she's trapped in the basement. Year 14. Marie and Michael are growing up, but they've lived in the basement their whole lives. They don't fully realize how bad their situation is and struggle with social anxiety. Year 15. They find a leak in the ceiling and start digging with a spoon. At the same time, Renee bonds with Thomas, unaware of his real identity. Sarah, now pregnant again, digs all night. She manages to dig a hole leading to the front yard and flashes a light to signal a neighbor. The neighbor sees it and tells Don. Don rushes to the basement and beats Sarah so badly that she loses the baby. Don then tells Sarah that her son Thomas has been living just above them. He tries to turn Marie and Michael against her, saying she kept secrets. The kids demand answers. Sarah breaks down, thinking of Chris, the one person who truly loved her. She finally tells her children the truth about Don. They are shocked. Marie, who has asthma, struggles to breathe due to the poor air in the basement. Year 19. Don argues with Sarah about food. Michael gets angry and attacks Don, but it only makes things worse. Above ground, Don's life is falling apart. He's fighting with Renee, loses his job, and their house is about to be taken by the bank. Tired of everything, Don plans to kill Sarah and the kids. One night, while they sleep, he runs a car in the garage and connects a hose to send carbon monoxide into the basement. Thomas sees Don in the garage with the car running and asks what he's doing. After talking with Thomas, Don changes his mind and decides not to go through with his plan. Marie has a severe asthma attack and needs a doctor. Sarah begs Don to take them to the hospital. She even calls him Dad to convince him. Don finally agrees and rushes them to the ER. This leads back to the opening scene of the story. Doctors work to save Marie's life. A doctor asks about Marie's medical history. Sarah asks to go to the bathroom, but Don refuses. She spills water on the form Don is filling out, giving her a chance to slip away while he gets a new one. Sarah runs to the doctor, hugs him, and begs for help. Don follows, but a police officer steps in and questions him. Don is arrested and later sentenced to life in prison. Renee is devastated when she learns what Don did to their daughter right in their own home. The family moves in together to start healing. Chris shows up on his motorcycle and takes Sarah out for a picnic. They talk about the future and the dreams they had as teens. Chris apologizes for not trying harder to find her. They ride off together.
And that's the end of the story. I hope you liked it. Comment down below what movies do you like us to recap next. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.